founder of Beehive Readers Club. Santanu sir has told me that you are really into reading, and I was really excited when they asked me to interview you, because even though I only heard it from him what you are about, but getting insights on a person who is more experienced than us on a thing that we do love is one thing that I want in my life, and the things that you are going to tell us are going to be inspiring for others too. So the first question that I have is, what made you start reading books, and what made you continue reading books?
I think when I started reading, the first thing was I wanted to read stories. And I love stories. So basically, somebody who wants to understand how great stories are written. I started with the fiction that time. When I started with the fiction, I started figuring out that the life is not a fairy tale. Obviously, you evolve with your age. And when I entered into the age of 25, 26, I realized that, okay, this is the time where you need to move from stories and start reading real stuff. More of a scientific or some process which can actually improve my life. So somewhere reading fiction became a starting point, and then I moved into reading non-fiction, and I started reading non-fiction. Then I figured out that, okay, these are something which I can apply into my life. When I started applying into my life, I started seeing improvement, and also in terms of work also, and productivity also started improving. So that is where I figured out, okay, start reading every day, make it a habit. Why? It just gives you an edge over other people, and you also have a lot of content to speak. So you're not a person who just knows things from surface, somebody who knows things from deep, or who has a more in-depth experience of things, or anything which you talk about, even you have. And also coming from academic background, or basically teaching in colleges and everything, learning or reading is something which you have to be very good at, because if you want to improve in academics, you have to read a lot. So that's something which began my journey, and I have been able to reap a lot of benefits from my reading. Kind of, you can say, a businessman kind of a reader, because I see benefit from that. That is why I'm continuing that habit.
It's good that you talked about fiction. I started reading through mangas, like the comic books, the Japanese comic books, and it's related to anime. So that's what got me into reading, and then I transitioned into proper books. And the first book that I did read was Immortals of Meloa. That was a really good read for me when it comes to first time reading. Yeah, Amish. So the second question is that there are people who hate reading because many reasons, but what do you think that what are the main reasons that people don't like to read, or when they read they get bored or they feel sleepy?
I feel reading is somewhere it requires a lot of brain get involved into, and a lot of attention you have to give. There are certain lines or certain things which have deep meaning, and if you're not into reading that thing, people generally don't enjoy. Another thing is people don't begin right, so they don't begin with the right books. They directly jump onto a very difficult book, and they read 3 or 5 pages or 10 pages because their motivation is high. Somebody has recommended that book to them and said that, okay, if you read this, this is something which is a buzz in the market at present. So people start with that thing, but suddenly they fall off the wagon because they're not able to maintain that habit, because they've started with a very difficult one and they start hating reading. Another thing is people take it as like a commitment. I have to finish this book and take it on the ego. If they're not able to complete that book, they start feeling very bad about reading as a habit. Third is if they see other in the family excelling after reading, they just get jealous. Hey, he's a book reader, book iska kuch nahi hoga, pagal ho jayega. That kind of a thing starts happening. So that's something which is it's different reasons why people hate, but that is something which I've seen people hate. Or generally people not able to take out time for something where they have to focus. So focus and attention is something people cannot put attention to it.
The reason I used to hate reading was because I was not able to imagine what the writer was writing, and the creative thinking was not there with me at that time. So I guess that's where the mangas came in, because they gave a visual representation too, as well as with writing. So after that, I was able to imagine what's going on, and I used to now I'm able to imagine what the character looks like just from the reading. So that's really interesting about books that I've known to. So the one that every guy likes to ask someone who's experienced is, what book is close to you? Like, what inspires you?
There are many books, but at present, I think the current book which I'm reading for the second time is Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. Then other books like Stolen Focus, from where I think I've given an example about Instagram. So these are something which I've enjoyed, and Lost Connections is one of the other book. So these books are very close to my heart. The reason is one. The other thing is I was able to make time for it and I was able to complete it. Other thing is just, it touched upon a very important topic. If you talk about Lost Connection, it touched upon depression, how it is spreading in our society. Stolen Focus basically focus upon why people are losing attention. And there is a book by Daniel Kahneman on Thinking Fast and Slow, which only focuses upon how basically people use shortcut in taking decisions. And people think that they're taking correct decisions, but the point is they're not taking correct decisions. They always make decisions just based on their intuition or intuitive thinking. And that's somewhere which is hampering the decision making, and everybody is suffering from it. So that book somewhere helped me in my work also, because when I use in innovation consulting, when we're dealing with humans, we see these kind of biases that they use into taking any decision are at play. So we take that inspiration from there and actually communicate it to our client also.
So there are many books in the market, and even I was confused what should I first read when I started getting into reading. And just like me, there are many others who are confused, like, read karna hai, but from where should I start? They're not aware of what kind of books they should start reading at first. So what is your suggestion for a student who has never read a book and is going to start reading but is confused right now what book he needs to read? So what's your suggestion on him?
I think read book from their interest area. What people do is people directly jump onto reading science. Like, you can start with tiny habits which actually you can apply in your life and which make sense. Then there are books. Lost Connection is also a good book because it's a mix of a story and scientific research. So I feel people will enjoy that kind of a book, and it's written with the purpose of enlightening people or giving them awareness about a particular topic, and they have distributed it with different causes. So people can actually read it and become more smart in their ecosystem and share that, okay, I know so much about it. So that's something where they can start with. Jonathan Harry's book is not that much easy, but Tiny Habits is a very easy book which is written by BJ Fogg. Okay. So he's basically the founder of Persuasive Lab in Stanford, the main person behind the Instagram and all those things. So basically people can start from that book, and slowly and steadily they can actually increase their ability. And most important thing is start with reading one page or one paragraph every day rather than jumping onto reading 10 pages. If you stick low with the ability, I think you can actually develop a reading habit which can actually go over and over, like you can continue to remain it and make a specific time. Okay, I want to read it during that time. So start with Tiny Habits kind of a book which is very simple and easy to understand and connects with your life also. Or start with a very normal book of The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, Robin Sharma, and all those kind of books which are very easy. Or even I don't recommend, but Two States writer Chetan Bhagat. Those are very simple books. So when I used to go to for pursuing MBA or preparing for MBA, that time it was start with that book. It's because it gives you confidence. So these are the kind of books which we actually give because they don't use that kind of a difficult jargon or English, and it's easy to understand. So that is where you can start, and slowly and steadily you can take other books also. But make a habit. Make a habit that at a particular time every day I'll read some pages, 2 or 3, and I'll sleep after that, or I'll start my day with that. You can do anything.
I think your insights will be really helpful for even me and the other students who will be watching this interview. So it's been really nice meeting you, sir, and I really enjoyed the whole session with you when you were speaking about design thinking. I think I'll end this interview right here. And are there any words that you want to relay to students at the end of this session?
I think I liked the attention, the kind of responses I've got from people, and that's good. This shows that they have a passion for innovation and also to do new things and learn new things. And I see after the session also some people came and they actually wanted to get registered into this thing. So most probably looking into another session also. We'll see if we can come up with something else other than design thinking. We'll obviously love to contribute. I really had a good time interacting with the students.
We had a good time with you too, sir. What we at Beehive do is we hold such events also where people are into reading or entrepreneurs whose life has been influenced by a book or any book in any way. We like to invite them to have a session, even interviews just like this, and have a session like this, big session with them. So I think that would be really great if we were able to see you again, but this time under Beehive's head.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It was nice to meet you.
Same here.